And this is even more old school
smart pick
Uzi as well, picking up the Caitlyn. It was always one of the champions that he was most feared for. And the Rengar as well. I like it a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say you just pick Caitlyn to win lane, but when you're as good as Uzi on Caitlyn, you just demolish lane is the thing, because he can harass you on every CS, and he generally does. So it's not just about being able to farm safely, but just being able to heavily deny the enemy AD carry farm.
Not to mention just the power of a Karma Caitlyn lane. I mean, that is super oppressive, what with all of the harassment, all of the Kai potential as well from the slows that are coming through from that champion.
Yeah, they could do Twitch if they wanted to kind of sacrifice the lane, but still have the really strong team fight afterwards. Rengar, AD Rengar against Twitch, not the funnest, but it could work.
I mean, also, you're talking about sacrificing the lane. Are there many lanes that we really feel like Doublelift and Aphromoo are going to be able to go like, okay, against Uzi's Caitlyn, against the Karma,
let's lane bully this.
Yeah, let's lane bully this lane. The only thing that I feel could be like more annoying would be like the old school Ezreal Sona lane, you know, where you just insta-kill someone with the 6.
And sit all the way back, potentially. And sitting all the way back is not Ezreal.
Bad.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Bad at all.
Jhin is the #1 pick against Caitlyn as far as people who want to pick an AD carry against it, and then Sona can also be considered one of the best ones against this. If they flex, this would be super troll and awesome, but they're most likely not going to because they still have to pick their top lane.
Yeah, well, once again, a flex if he's hovering that. Jace has played that in the support position in the past. Oh my goodness,
Doublelift is going to be in a bit of trouble with this Rengar, though. Jhin, as soon as he locks himself in his ultimate.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, and now there's more dive.
The Super Bowl delivery squad, I think you call this, from Clear Love and Mouse.
Yeah. If they get a combo that's good, everyone will die. That's the problem. So NA needs to make sure they're spreading out and staying as safe as possible.
But when I look at the NA squad kind of in a vacuum and don't really look at their opponents, I'm quite liking this champion select for a few different things. The Nautilus very strong in the top lane. Rek'Sai still has a lot of presence with Courage of the Colossus as well. And we've got Bjergsen on Cassiopeia. Normally that's a good sign. Normally that goes a long way, but still, there's positives on both sides of this draft.
Yeah, and I do actually have to point out, I've been paying a lot of attention to the NA player cams in all 3 of their drafts, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Doublelift has been talking the most and also gotten to pick his AD carry in the last rotation in every draft. So he's basically just, please pick me into a good matchup. But in this one, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting lane because the Caitlyn Karma is one of the strongest lanes you can do. But technically, as close as they could come to a counter pick, they tried to do so.
Yeah, and look, if you're talking about Uzi being, Doublelift being a massive carry, Uzi most certainly is as well. Now has a double shield composition to try and keep him healthy, what with also having that Vengeful Maelstrom coming out of the Maokai, if Mouse is going to be sitting back and getting that done. But, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to hop onto Twitter, use that tweet at LOL Esports, use the hashtag FireWin if you think that LCS is going to be able to take this one, or the hashtag IceWin if you think that LPL can take this one down for our final match of the night. Remember, this is for the 100 points to get either fire or ice out of this tie that we currently have. It is all on the line moving into day number 4 tomorrow.
And the question we've got on our minds now as we head into the Rift,
Chris?
How is Mata taking this game? Is it going to be the Mata in the regional game yesterday that was landing hooks, beautiful combos, or the Mata that ran into tower level 1?
That's what makes him the most dangerous player on the planet.
Yeah,
you never know. He's dangerous for both teams. He's like, he's much like, it's interesting
Who's
that
he
he
playing
is
for today, chat?
It's great that he's playing Yasuo so much in 1v1s as well, because it's really like having a Yasuo on your team in solo queue.
Exactly
you
right.
never really know.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. Kind of hurts a little bit.
So we saw one of these plays yesterday pay off, where you get into the tribush early, make sure you have the vision control, and then as they sneak forward in the lane, you cut in behind them and catch them out. So we'll see if that happens again.
Aphromoo using his toggle button, I like it. Remember, we were talking about, you know, the extra support that Uzi will have in this game, what with all the movement speed and the shields that you're going to pick up from Mata. I do like having a Sona there as well, Song of Celerity. Underrated ability is Doublelift. Yeah, there it is.
Basically won the game already.
Oh, good. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And here's kind of the theory behind the Sona v Karma. If you're looking at the dual lanes in a totally simplistic fashion, it's like the poke ranged AD carries beat the tank AD carries, but the sustain AD carries should beat the poke AD carries, and therefore the tank AD carries should beat the sustain. But the reason that Karma, so it's just like a rock, paper, scissors type thing, but the reason Karma was so dominant in NA throughout most of the regular season is people were thinking that her burst was high enough that she could all in the sustain AD carries and therefore win every matchup. And sometimes that's true with the Caitlyn because you're always able to reach, but at least when Albus played it against Aphromoo, he was showing that's not necessarily the case. So as long as they're not taking too much poke, they should hopefully be able to avoid the all-ins and out-sustain the Karma and Caitlyn.
And we need to keep focused on the bottom lane as well, because from the Tribush ward that the LPL squad put down, they recognized Doublelift and Aphromoo came to the lane later, indicating they were helping Rainover on red to come bottom through Krugs and look for a gank. That was pinged out. The ward has gone down afterwards, so Rainover clearly kind of doesn't feel confident going for that early level 3 gank we've heard so much about, but he has just pinged on his way from a different way into the lane. Maybe they have that idea that it was warded.
Kind of the delayed level 3 gank. You're expecting the early 2-minute, 20-second cheese, but you don't quite get that.
It's going mid.
Dangerous as Uzi does so much damage to Doublelift. Doesn't use the heal just yet as Wayless gets himself out, uses the ghost, but not the flash.
Just keeps himself safe, but Clearlove on the same path heading topside for impact. Look how low Mouse is, though.
Yeah, Mouse is in trouble, but Clearlove is here. Flashes forward, has the red buff as well, so can slow him down. Will the dredge line come off? Cooldown as Impact. Oh, first blood goes down, and it is going to be Clearlove that grabs it.
Yeah, and honestly, pretty disrespectful by Impact there to be pushed up at that stage of the game. Yes, the level 3 gank didn't come directly, but until you see that level 3 jungler for the first time, depending on your side of the map, the duo lane for Ice shouldn't have been pushed up. They actually technically should have died for that because Rainover should have ganked bottom off that path since they were pushed up so far. Impact was pushed up the same way. Clearlove actually punished it, got the kill.
Doublelift takes a lot of
Uzi missing the combo.
Yeah,
But
now they exhaust.
Cute little exhaust comes out as
speed.
Mata tries to get the damage down. Good block there from Aphromoo as Doublelift taking so much damage. The autos from Uzi seem to come from such a long range when you're against a Jhin.
Yep, always max range on Caitlyn, and that's some of the things that the best Caitlyn's can do is just make sure that they're kind of pole arming you and never trading, but instead just getting damage off for free.
Perfect adjective for that. I never thought of it. Pole arming. Yeah, stunning. Peacemaker is going to land on Doublelift. Not looking all that peaceful at all, to be perfectly honest.
Doesn't have heal, so really,
This
a
is
tickle
risky.
would kill him.
Especially now that they can kind of assume Clearlove is bottom side of the jungle, they don't have wards to spot him either. So this is fairly risky, but with Rainover bottom side, they should be able to get that. Oh, Aphromoo is dropping so low off this.
If
Flirting with death.
If Rainover goes in, he has to 1v2 because Doublelift and Aphromoo can't approach.
Especially not without that heal you're talking about. Like, maybe if they had that, they would think they could just about balance it, but it's still, look at the health difference already. If they even tried to trade, that would almost be suicidal.
It's gone from a gank to, well, I guess I'll be the one to pick up this experience underneath the turret. Aphromoo going to join him as well as Doublelift goes back, grabs himself a cull. Just feels like conceding this lane at the moment, but that's what we were talking about. I mean, this isn't actually all that bad. If they don't die, it's probably fine. Allow Bjergsen, allow Impact, try and get advantages if they can. But if we have a look at those lanes, it's very, very even. Apart from that top lane, after that first kill, Mouse able to get himself ahead by that 10 CS.
Yeah, LPL technically winning these two lanes in the top and the bottom lane, not by a huge margin, but it could definitely get a lot worse if the bottom lane trends the way it has been trending. 300 gold, not a huge deal, but Cull versus Pickaxe really speaks to Doublelift only wanting to sustain that lane with Aphromoo and Uzi and Mata just able to keep the pressure. And this type of thing can snowball very easily if you're able to get the kills after you've gotten the large lead, get the first turret, and so on.
Yeah, and a big one as well is that Clearlove has managed to make it about 600 gold in the lead over Rainover as well with that first successful gank. So this Rengar will be a problem. Now looking towards that mid lane to see what he can get done. In fact, relatively low on mana, but he's doing fine here up towards the top side of the map.
Both supports have drifted up as well towards this mid lane. You can see them kind of backing and forthing over the wards in the river. Mata's going to take himself that fruit. I would argue that Aphromoo securing a little bit of vision for himself may go a little bit longer. They now realize where Mata was. Aphromoo doesn't get caught out in the bush by any kind of cheeky play around that tri-bush as they get back into lane, but still they maintain the CS lead for Uzi in that bottom side. And now we see these trades. When you talk about that pickaxe into the cull, Doublelift, they've got to play careful around this, because as you were talking about, Uzi at max range is just punishing him every single time he's trying to come forward to last hit.
Yeah, and this really hurts Rainover as well, getting the entire quadrant of his jungle stolen by Clearlove. There's not really much he can do to get back at that with the longer respawns on jungle timers. Something about this season, counter jungling much more rewarding if you're able to pull it off. Gotta go straight for a gank. Surprising that Mouse was still around.
Yeah, well, there's the depth charge. Mouse claps his hands, but that's going to spell game over. You'd expect. There's the flash. Arcane smash as well, and he makes it out alive.
Yeah, surprising he's still around, but he's still Maokai.
Yeah.
Double Doran's Health Crystal, one of the best builds you can go early absorbing the gank against the Nautilus. Rek'Sai, who hadn't shopped, so not much damage actually coming through. He unfortunately had to burn his flash because he should have just backed away after seeing Rainover, knowing he'd been counter jungle, and the only thing he can do is go gank, but he still gets away without a huge punishment.
Clearlove right now, though, from the time in the jungle that he spent, is almost a whole level above Rainover in experience. And since he's now past that level 6 mark, Clearlove has the opportunity. Earlier, we saw Aphromoo and Doublelift pushing up fairly heavily in the bottom lane. You can see Clearlove just hanging around the back of mid lane as well, looking to try and perhaps get in onto Bjergsen. A little tricky to go forwards if the Cassiopeia kind of knows you're coming, so we'll see how Clearlove and Wayless can utilize this Shockwave combo with the Rengar. We saw NA use its great effect on day one against Europe.
They used such a great effect once, and then the other times it was just Rainover running away. But I agree with you, it has a ton of potential to work, especially on the damage Rengar as well. Even if you get a little bit of tankiness, the 80 Rengar plus the 2 or 3 item Orianna later in the game, clean one shot.
It's disgusting when that starts hitting. And when you kind of have that moment where Clearlove's no longer the ball delivery and it's all about Mao's kind of going in, that's also just a very dangerous setup. So the LPL squad have this huge wombo combo setup if they can get it a little bit later.
Yeah, really nice disengage as well with all the extra movement speed that they have, what with the Inspire and with the Command Dissonance as well. Just very flexible in this composition, but they do need to get there, and they do need to play well from the mid game to the late game, because we saw against the LCK, it's a different story. After what was a very promising first 5 minutes, things went wrong.
Oh, nice one!
Made it 8 minutes in as Marta has to flash. Rainover doesn't get the knock-up, and no deadly flourish to be found for Doublelift.
Good reaction time out of Marta there. As soon as Rainover was spotted, as soon as he knew he was there, flashes right over the wall. Good mediate.
It was a really clever move by Rainover because they pinged on the control ward, and those are the greatest baits to try and catch someone going to clear it. Rainover taking the plant over the Drake wall and then immediately tunneling in afterwards.
Afro's not quite 6 yet. He can't deny this Rengar if he jumps on him.
Oh dear, there he is as Clearlove jumps through. Good flash from Aphromoo and gets out of the way of the Bola Strike, but Doublelift does have to use the heal. Successful gank from Clearlove.
Just the Rengar damage did 70% of his health without anyone else around.
In the mid lane, there's the flash knock-up from Rainover. Oh, doesn't actually find the stun, but Bjergsen has enough damage. That's going to do it for Rainover.
Yeah, love that gank from Cassiopeia, just throwing down the W as a gank.
Clearlove again, though.
Oh my goodness, Aphromoo in a rough spot. The flash is nice, but Clearlove taking a lot of damage. Oh my goodness, there's a Peacemaker, and Uzi grabs himself the kill. Mouse with a bit of a delayed teleport, but to answer, Impact who gets stunned up underneath the tower.
Down here,
so much damage there. Rainover eventually turns up. Good shield from Marta, but he should fall down. Doublelift grabs Clearlove. Can they clean this fight up? As everyone's getting back underneath the turret, Miasma goes over to the top, and Uzi says, where did my friends go? I'm gonna die to the turret because I want it on my own terms.
That's exactly what NA needed to happen. This gives Doublelift 2 kills. Uzi only picked up 1, and they're able to get pretty much everything back. While yes, the initial dive was successful, when they teleport in, because Wayless was off the map, having been killed early, Ice can't actually match the numbers, not to mention they can't retreat. So they're stuck in this murky middle ground where they're hoping to close in onto Doublelift, but they can't because he's staying out of Twisted Advance range. So he just gets to free hit this entire time, and everyone was trying to focus Impact, which just wasn't happening.
And it all stems, as you were talking about, an overextension in the bottom lane, but first of all, an overextension by Wayless in mid. He thought with double summoners up, he would be okay, but he pushed the wave, didn't have a read on where Rainover was, and it punishes the LPL squad way harder than just that 1 kill in the middle lane with him.
Yeah, and that's the trickiest thing we were talking about laning against Cassiopeia. Even though you have Flash, it doesn't mean it'll help you in a game because of the grounded effect of the Miasma.
Well, I do want to remind you of what I just said about LPL versus LCK. I mean, it may have taken about 9 minutes this time around, but things have certainly gone back in the favor of NA. We do now have a slight gold advantage by about 800, but what's really important is the fact that Doublelift has clawed back what was a massive deficit on the bottom side of the map. Still a lot of pressure here from Team Ice, but NA feeling a whole lot better after those kills have been picked up, because 2-0-2 now on the Jhin. Going to be pretty comfortable, just needs to sit back.
It's a good spot to be in, and for Doublelift, you know, it's going to revolve around these skirmishes early on. We've already kind of recognized that it's very difficult for Jhin to push back Uzi and Mata as they're pushing down on that bottom tower, so he has to kind of find those safe spots that we were talking about. Bjergsen has Wayless caught potentially again.
Yeah, has to flash himself over the wall. Oh, there's the Shockwave onto Rainover as Clearlove.
Hoping a combo.
Yep. Couldn't quite find it, and of course, no Shockwave for the Kitty Cat.
Yeah.
Clearlove just launches his way out of the brush.
all burned, so that diminishes a lot of pressure, unfortunately, for Ice.
The lumbering Nautilus, not going to quite find too much. Big Daddy, go back towards the top side of the map.
Uzi didn't quite get the traps off completely.
Yeah. Still, though, trying to get as much control as possible in this bottom side. What's interesting is that control ward has lasted for so long in the tri-brush, and that's what's basically keeping the turret alive, is the fact that that control ward exists. Because there's these large minion waves that they're able to push to the turret, but then they're not willing to actually get the turret harass off because they don't have control of the tri-brush, which will tell them when the gank will be coming.
Well, speaking of ganks coming a couple of seconds away, perhaps. Look at Rainova's pathing. Bjergsen coming down, but he is spotted on a ward. So look at how much respect this time Uzi and Mata give over to the LCS. They say, okay, we see you coming a mile off. We're going to take a full step back in lane so that we don't get caught. So, you know, one of those pivotal moments where the Rift Scuttler vision without that ward perhaps could have been a different story, but the respect now being given after being punished before.
That was nicely done, especially with Clearlove on the top side of the map, was taking his red buff there as well. Now, Rift Scuttler is going to go down for the Rengar. Now looking potentially at Impact, who's at about half health. The Wet Noodle fight is certainly on, to utilize that overused term, however, very relevant in this case.
The no ultimate walk into lane gank while the enemy takes the Drake. An underutilized move, one would say.
Yeah.
Not very effective right there.
We'll see how it pays off.
The other team got Drake.
Damn it. Hero would have thought that it would have been great.
He's just used to playing Evelyn, okay? He's like, I can just get all the way into lane. I don't need any ultimates or anything, but...
with the delayed effectiveness of this gank. No, still not working.
Well, might spell some damage on the turret, chat. Come on, stay positive. I thought you were unbiased, buddy.
That was still quite optimistic with the delayed effectiveness looking for it. Bjerg has his ult, has flash, has...
Hey, listen, man.
It was.
Rainover showed us NA Rengar yesterday. We'll see what CN Rengar looks like today.
Well, it looks all right.
Never know.
1-1-1.
It's been okay so far.
Otherwise, okay.
Little bit of hit, little bit of miss.
There's a reason we don't play it in Europe. That's all I'm going to say. You don't ever want to see that happen.
We certainly didn't play it in OCE either. Right. Bit of a different story. But let's have a look towards the top side of the map. It's Clearlove looking for a gank on this time. Yeah, he's going to launch himself on top
Here
of
we
the
go.
Death Charge, but only gets one of the knockups. Flashes the bowler strike, and now the Riptide's there, but Mouse just punts him back. Clearlove looking for the damage. He's pretty tanky, but they kill him before the dredge line comes in.
Oh, bot side though, this is still a beneficial trade for the NALCS. They get first tower on the bottom side, despite being against the Caitlyn and the Karma. They push them all the way out of lane, and just capitalize.
And that really all stems from the overdive that the LPL did earlier, because they had total control of that lane up until that point. I do want to credit. I do want to credit Mouse to flash in front of Impact right there, because you'd think it might be wasteful because you could slow him with Q anyways, but he's just making sure Impact couldn't escape with the dredge line.
Yeah, it was cute. Not able to grab this top out of
stop him. Ghosting in, so he wants to take this.
TP coming through as well. Impact's on his own.
Just the edge. That was stunning, exactly right. Now Impact looking to try and close off Mouse, and this is exactly what he did to him. Now the tables have turned as Mouse, the last Twin Fan, that's going to get the double kill for Bjergsen. There's a Crescendo in the mid lane as well, and Wayless evaporates, and LPL just going bust.
Yeah, NA way faster on the moves right there. They've taken the duo lane turret, so the mid lane roams top and the bottom lane roams mid. They just shifted everyone up to that side of the map. They win all over. They had three kills and maybe 2 turrets.
And again, it stems from the LPL kind of over-pushing. Look at the top tower health. You can even see it on the minimap. They were trying to just shove everything back and make sure that they could get the lane in a position that when they eventually go to it, it's like one hit and the tower is gone. And that means they stayed too late. The roam came up, the TP came out, and it was an easy pickoff on the top side.
I just want to say, LPL does the early game really well. You just wait till we're good at the rest of the game as well. It's going to be huge. Unfortunately, it's just not quite working out. 3,000 gold now the lead for the NALCS, just with far more crisp movements. But is this a scaling conversation that we need to have now? I mean, Orianna, Caitlyn, you know, Maokai as well.
The late game conversation.
We're strapping in the late game, boys.
Yeah. The thing is, when you compare these team compositions, they're pretty close as far as overall scale. They got the super tanks in the top lane. Rengar maybe you would say would scale, but that's only if the game becomes chaotic. If you're thinking about straight up team fights, the 80 Rengar actually just kind of blows up. The Cassiopeia also is a better DPS character against the Maokai, but that's canceled out with Caitlyn being better DPS.
Oh, good flash. Yeah, very cute little flash. Wayless is trying to throw the ball around and does do so effectively. Grabs the shutdown.
It was a good, that was a very vintage double lift flash. He's like, I'm going to flash this shockwave. Look at my mechanics. What now?
Yeah,
I have
love
no
as well.
response.
It's the battle of the two players that love being alone in a side lane in the wrong position as well. I mean, Wailers from the LPL, always known for that. Beautiful. We saw it yesterday. And double lift as well. I mean, in his past has been one to utilize the side lane farm.
Yeah, keep going for it. Still down in CS. It's the thought that counts.
It's coming up on Christmas, you know? I mean, thought that counts is very relevant at this stage.
Well, Clayla, his thought right now is that he wants Impact, who does have his ultimate but no flash, but is fairly tanky at this point. So we'll see whether Mouse and Clayla again can punish Impact. But
Yeah. AD Rengar thrives on killing squishies. I've been very surprised to see him visiting the tankiest player on the map repeatedly in this game. When Aphromoo was losing 75% of his health from like 2 Rengar spells earlier. Very surprised that he hasn't been going for more plays and just trying to kill the support.
This time, though, I like the fact that they don't just go for it because they see Uzi and Mata coming up to the top side. Impact backs away, and while they had set that tower up to be killed earlier, they finally get an objective from it as well. So second tower of the game for the LPL.
Important that they go up there to get the turret. Just overall commenting on the surprise of how much he's been up there.
Yep. Uzi now, you can see on your screen with a variety bucket of items, looking for that Hurricane as well as the Infinity Edge and buying as much of both of them at the same time as he possibly can. I certainly like that. On the other side, it is going to be double F, finishing off his Essence Reaver as well as his Zeal for a heck of a lot more cooldown reduction at this point in time. Turn call will come through at any moment. Oh,
whoa!
Last Cone is going to deliver Aphromoo in the right spot. Double F didn't quite manage to make it.
Oh man, you always want to punish Aphromoo. He plays so far forward and oftentimes does get burned for it, but not this time.
Oh dear, Lilo taking so much damage. Good command protect. Bjergsen takes a lot from that dissonance. Uzi shoots one over, but Rainover's going to pick that one up. Hold up to find the kill or anything like that. Mouse still underneath his turret and he's going to be okay.
We're in one of these situations where both teams are like, okay, we're going to put 5 people up there, and it's probably going to be one of the ones where everyone just backs away. You don't want to just head-on engage into either of these teams, so we'll see whether NA LCS can do anything with it, get some vision control on the top side perhaps. Yeah,
you always have to look at who has the other ways pushing when they need his 5v5, because that team almost always transitions it into an advantage afterwards, since when they do move back down, watch this, Ice actually has to push out some of these mini waves, and that means Fire can get some of the wards in the Drake area. The cost of this, though, is they didn't chop, whereas everyone on Ice did. So if Ice does actually get a clean 5v5 fight, they have an edge. It's just really hard to do without the vision control or the position.
Fire's going to utilize that time. Grab himself.
Oh, all the TPs are coming through. Hang on, Uzi's trapping already.
In a heck of a lot of trouble. Does throw down a trap as Clearlove looking to get himself in position. We get spotted out by Aphromoo. Impact right on the front line as Mata looks to be the one caught out and is going to die. Impact grabs that kill. Wailers with a fair bit of damage there as he throws his ball around, and Mouse is right in the back line of this fight. Good curtain call from Double Lift, but Uzi in a great position as well at the back of this fight. Impact has to flash his way out as Clearlove wants to get into two-man shockwave there for Wailers as Aphromoo in so much trouble. Mouse grabs that kill, flashes out. It's a good stun onto Clearlove though, and Rainover gonna grab that kill. Uzi somehow snagged by that dredge line. That was ridiculous as Wailers is just throwing the ball everywhere to keep his team alive.
And we got to see the extremes of that fight, with the tanks just eating damage from absolutely everyone, and how long it takes Cassiopeia Jhin to cut through a tank versus how long it takes Orianna Caitlyn to cut through a tank. And this time, Uzi actually did get a lot of damage out in the fight, and he's not even in his super strong point, he's in his mid-game dip.
It's a good TP position out of Uzi right into the back of this fight. They catch Mata, take him out before he can really have an impact, because the LPL squad are split up on 2 sides, and now they're up against the numbers advantage. The Mouse, he can tank a lot of damage for sure, but you see Impact doing the same, holding Wailers and Uzi back. The ultimate to stop more damage coming out of Orianna, and now the shockwave ended up coming through.
Yeah, and also watch Wailers in the extension of this fight, keeping the ball right in that choke point and kind of stopping anyone from Fire for following up on Impact's hook onto Uzi, so that completely pushes them back on this fight. Yes, they did lose the fight, but Wailers played it very well.
Yeah, and this is what Wailers was known for as well. He was more of a DPS Orianna player, you know, known for being able to move his ball to the right positions in a team fight, knows exactly how to utilize the champion to get the most damage out in a really effective way that's not necessarily noticeable, because it's really subtle in the way that he utilizes all of the different abilities that Orianna has.
Yeah, and also while most people go Rylai's in their Orianna build out from Relonomicon, even last year before Rylai's was super popular, and still it looks like Wailers is going for Ludens. So you're faster, you're way squishier, but you also do a bunch more damage. His mid-game power spike is about as big as it gets when you go Sorcerer Shoes, Morel, and Omicron Luden. So he's absolutely going to be going for some one-shots on either Afro or Double Lift with that build.
And if they end up somehow getting the Maokai with the ball through onto someone like Bjergsen, which rarely will happen with this team setup, that could be, you know, catastrophic for the NALCS team. If they just get shockwaved off the map from their carries, that's pretty much the end of that fight because Uzi will end up cleaning it up. So despite looking like the LPL are fairly far behind on kills with having half of it, they still are in this game, certainly. But Wayless, he's in a lot of trouble in mid lane.
Potentially, as 3 bullets go in, make that 4 as Wayless even gets stunned at the end. Is going to survive as Aframu doesn't offer any extra damage.
Yeah, really no one else to come through.
Yeah.
Landed every single shot.
The skill shots, nailed it. That's fine.
All
Send the
4 of them.
message.
What it did, however, is drag the LPL team into the mid lane, and now Bjergsen pushes through with Reignover on the top side. So kind of not sure whether it was the intended play when they end up catching Wayless in the middle lane.
Let's go.
A good play.
There it is. Just accuses his way out. Okay, not this time. This time. A lot of messages.
He was a little far ahead of the rest of his team. Decided, nope, don't want this one. But at least he used it.
Exactly. Mata not going to get stunned by the Deadly Flourish, but does move around, at least get slowed by the Song of Celerity power chord.
And as we kind of sweep through the top side of the jungle, you can see the vision control as well for the NALCS. Very good. They got 2 sight stones as well, so on top of that, they're able to maintain a lot of vision. Rek'Sai, one of the few junglers that still can do that isn't Lee Sin when you look at how the meta plays out.
You see an incredibly low amount of sight stones, especially on the new season, mainly because most of the new season has been seen in solo queue, and no one builds that stuff in solo queue on the jungle. In pro play, even though Reignover, one of the first to do that this whole tournament.
Yeah, exactly. It's normally that Titanic Hydra setup where you're looking for a little bit more damage. Oh, double shockwave.
Shockwave, yeah, impacted Reignover. The tanky members do get knocked around as Mouse makes his way into a very good position. Wayless continues to get the damage down. Uzi there as well. But looks like NALCS don't want the fight and do move away successfully.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird fight there because the 2 main damage dealers really on these teams is Uzi for the repeatable damage on Caitlyn and Cassiopeia for the repeatable damage with Bjergsen. Neither of them were there that fight, so no one could kill the pit.
And once again, the curtain call comes in. Wayless just happy to tank him all up as Impact gets his face into the fight. Takes a lot of damage, gets himself out with the flash.
Yeah, wasted his dredge line, so he couldn't jump out on that. Had to burn the flash, unfortunately.
And Wayless is having so much thrown at him time and time again. Luckily, he was able to flash, as you were talking about before that grounded came through, but they can never really close the distance for any kind of Cassiopeia ults unless the LPL team are diving right in. So that's one area that Bjergsen himself has to be fairly careful about, is if he pushes himself forward in a fight, Mouse is going to come straight through and try and pick him up.
Now Cluelab's just going to clear out his jungle towards the top side, pretty empty as far as the bottom side of it is concerned, and Uzi back into the mid lane to try and shove this one through. Still a few turrets left available here for Team Ice to try and take down. 3-2, in fact, that scoreline, so still looking for that mid lane outer turret. Not going to get it this time, though, with a lot of defense available from Double Lift and Aframu.
Absolutely, and even though it is the 3,000 gold lead for NA, watch for Uzi. When he's able to get his second Zeal item in, the fact that he will have double shield as well is really the sweet spot for the Caitlyn power spike. It might have to wait until Last Whisper because of the massive tank line on fire, but if he's able to do that, like that's where LPL can kind of neutralize that gold lead, because that requires Fire to have really good like backline access, and they have a very good tank line, but they have almost no dive that can actually threaten a double shield occasion. So it's actually looking decent for the LPL as long as they don't lose before Uzi gets to those items.
Yeah, and look, I get it. I get scared of these questions about items especially. But that's a warrior enchantment picked up for Reignover on the Rek'Sai, which it is interesting, right?
Yeah. It's what he used to do when he was carrying all those Rek'Sai games back in Fnatic when they had that undefeated split. So it's a very Reignover thing to do. I don't necessarily think it's bad, it's just uncommon.
Oh, Impact doing Impact things though. Massive teleport into the back line. Whoa! Massive crescendo. Reignover grabs the first kill and it's on to Wayless as Uzi completely off on his own. Mouse tanking up the curtain call. Uzi grabs the last bullet there as now Mouse. Oh god. They just cut the tree down. It is going to be the double picked up for exactly the man we were talking about just before.
Take one for the team. Mouse just allows Uzi to escape right there, but that's the type of big fight that NA really wanted. They comboed all their CC just right.
And now they're going for Baron. Clearlove's the other side of the map, almost out of health as well. No flash to look for any kind of trade. He's been spotted out in a wood. They know that there is no way of stopping the NA/LCS squad from doing this. So they're just going to take themselves an Ocean Drake, and that is never going to be a worthwhile trade.
The classic constellation Ocean Drake. Not bad.
Well, we were talking about, you know, Impact doing Impact things, gets right into that fight. Gets the knock-up off the dredge line on multiple people, and Afro just hits, you know, the perfect crescendo for the moment.
I feel like because Uzi was in the jungle, Ice walked towards the teleport. They had a path to run through the river and kind of delay the fight, but they chose not to take that. Instead, they kind of ran straight into the Nautilus, who knocked up everyone, allowed the CC chain to happen, and then Mouse was really just taking hits so the rest of them could run away.
Just seems all about these choke points.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic crescendo there from Afromu.
Yeah, I do have a minor point about the Ocean Drake. I still think it was the right call for NA to take the Baron, but Sona with Ocean Drake is almost kind of like Jhin with Infernal Drake, where it's just so much better on that champion than it is on anyone else. Sona, especially with the incredible cooldown reduction she can get us up to like 60 or 70% later in the game when you rank up crescendo, is pretty much only gated by mana. Otherwise, she can just heal everyone to full. So if you're able to get 1 or 2 Ocean Drakes, it almost just is multiplicative in its effectiveness when compared to other champions.
It's okay, Jad, don't worry. Next Drake, it's Ocean. They can get it for Sona. No need to panic. We'll get one.
But double Ocean is even better.
Just never please you, Jack.
High expectations.
Exactly right. It's good. Keeping it honest. Man, Dissonance does a heck of a lot of damage. That's the Luden's Echo for you, gentlemen.
Yeah, likely going to get something like a Void Staff next for looking for extra penetration. Maybe the Abyssal, but yeah, you see the short range. Mouse goes in.
Yeah, just straight in there. Doesn't waste any time. Gets Dredgeline back as well as Uzi's going to get knocked up. Redemption is in to try and heal up the members of the LPL as Curtain Call goes down, but this turret should follow as well. Massive damage on Afromu, but Impact is able to tank that one up. It is going to be Double taking down the Orianna. As now NA just tearing them up. Clearlove's dead. Mouse is dead as well. Uzi, I think he was there for a second, but he just goes down, and Mata's going to spell the triple kill for Double Lift.
That's the game.
That's a clean ace with the Baron buff, totally decimating the LPL in that last fight, and they're going to win pre-30 minutes.
Just unbelievable play from the NALCS. First Nexus turret down, second as well, and this puts Fire 100 points in the lead at the end of the day and gives Double Lift the revenge that he needed against Mata and Uzi.
I'm sure he would